Hi, Rowan. Hey, peace and love, and welcome everyone to Not Church Mysticism. I'm Peter Panagore, MDiv, and near-death experiencer, and today, how to transform your pain into spiritual power. Luke's Beatitudes from the Aramaic, 6:22 to 23. So I had a conversation, or I'm about to have a conversation with Neil Douglas Klotz. I wrote to him a couple of weeks ago. He wrote back to me yesterday. He is the man that I am grateful to for the Aramaic translations that we're using. He's over your way, Michael, over there I think he said he's in Ireland. But I'll be in touch with him this week and we'll have a conversation. Now, what I have to say, what he has to say in his translation, but what I have to say about the Aramaic is unlike anything you've ever heard before in church or read in your Bible if you happen to have one. If you listen with the ear of your heart, you'll hear it for yourself. Kudos again to author Neil Douglas Klotz from his Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus, the hidden teachings on life and death, and his translations of the Syriac Bible known as the Peshitta. I am grateful to you, Neil Douglas Klotz. If you're new here or missed our recent Sundays, this is a series, and you can catch up by looking back. Luke 6:22 to 23, two Beatitudes today. Now, it can be blessedly ripening, just the right thing to discover your true purpose. When people see you in a bad light, coloring your true colors with your own inner hue and cry. When people single you out for abuse because of the wounds they have felt inside. When your good name gets tossed about, shout out, carried here and there as if it were a waste of time to mention you. All because someone or some part of you misviews the youth trying to fulfill its divine image, living according to its real purpose. In the distorted mirror of a heart, you appear backward, which is how this heart sees itself. Feel the guidance, cheer the joy in life's sharp point, in time's harsh spotlight, in time's harsh spotlight. Whatever is extremely bad, take the extreme part and use it to feel abundant, to make an inner reap, to be transported by the free energy it provides. These are your wages on the level of divine vibration, the world in which light, sound, and name mingle in the heart of the Holy One before it gave birth to everything we see. Your fee is payment for the job of a living. Your true image and purpose, the only work worth doing. It's the same work and payment received by the prophets before you, those who also listened to the voice always coming from within. That's the Beatitudes from Luke. That's very different. We'll unpack that, and I would post this, but the copyright says I can't print it anywhere. I can say it, but I can't print it. And I'm going to try to get permission to every week load into the show notes the translation. We'll see if I can get that or not. But let's pause here to catch our breath, to come with me, breathing with me, control, follow, and listen to your breathing. I'm standing. You can stand if you want to. You can sit. We're going to chant your prayer, the one that you know in your heart. Ride your breath with it. And when your mind wanders, come back to your chant over and over. If you're using the cyclical, up your spine, down your front, or you can go up your front and down your spine. But try the cyclical technique. Up your spine, down your front. From your root, up all your chakras, to your crown, to your brow, and back down. All right. A few breaths. We'll do some, I guess let's try a Om today, 3 Ohms, and then do a little bit of chanting, kind of bring all of us together into one spiritual space, because the transcendent nature of the divine energy knows no time. It's timeless and spaceless. We can connect where we are through the lens, through the microphone, without just sitting in front of your screen, chatting with your friends. We can connect. So here we go. Now, just a few breaths. This passage speaks to the journey of self-realization and the challenge of embodying one's divine nature. It admits the judgments and misunderstandings of the world. These types of negative situations are common in my NDE and STE life. How about yours? Do you suffer from miscommunication and trouble in your life? Comment if you've experienced skepticism or rejection after you told your post-experience story. It hurts and it isolates. And so we seek out each other here and gather wherever we can. Jesus suggests that when we face criticism, misunderstanding, or abuse, it reflects others' inner turmoil, not our true essence. Despite these challenges, Jesus calls us to recognize the divine within ourselves. The youth in the text means our original self, trying to fulfill its divine image, the divine reflection, and to live our authentic purpose. Jesus speaks to the mirroring effect, where the distortions others project onto us are but reflections of their own inner distortions. The false self sees itself wherever it goes. Jesus suggests that even in adversity, in life's sharp point and the harsh spotlight of time and space, using these experiences as a free power source for our inner growth results in an abundance of light. Lemons into lemonade. Life's difficulties are not punishments. They are opportunities for transformation and self-realization with a capital S. How? Turn around and look at your distorted mirror. Look at your shadow side. Look inside yourself. Look at your false self. Turn your back to the world. Let them see you backward and think you distorted as you look through the eye of your heart to the heart of hearts. Capital H's. What do you think Rumi was doing as he whirled? He was looking in reverse. He's looking at the mirror of the false self. Jesus alludes to this interconnectedness of all things, where light, sound, and a name mingle in the heart of the Holy One. The underlying oneness of existence, where all elements of the universe emerge and return to the same divine source. All elements, nothing excluded, not even pain. Let's pause to consider the spider who, from her own self, produces sticky protein silk in the world and is thus able to be both the creator and the material of her universe, of her web. And then some species of spider, they consume the old web, and all comes back inside herself. She recycles herself. Mundana Upanishad 1.1.7. This is the message of Jesus. This energy of the universe comes into us in so many forms. And if we consume it and pull it into ourselves, face our troubles, look inside, it becomes free energy for awakening and self-realization. All comes from the One, capital O, and all returns to the One. And nothing is ever separate. This is what Jesus taught in the Beatitudes from the Aramaic. You don't really find it in the four Gospels from the Koine Greek. It's there, but it's layered and hidden and less visible to see. Your fee for doing this is payment for the job of living in your true image and thus in your purpose. When you live in your true image, you automatically live in your purpose. It's not seeking this purpose outside somewhere. To live in your true image, that becomes the purpose. And it leads to all these amazing things in life. Your fee is payment for the job of living in your true image and thus in your purpose, which is the only work worth doing if you're living lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Work on the higher self. 100% I agree with this interpretation of the Beatitude, as my whole life shows. What's the payoff for me? What's the payoff for you? What's the payoff for everyone? It's the same work and payment received by the prophets and enlightened human beings who lived before you. Those who also listened to the voice, capital V, always coming from within. follow your inner guidance, capital G, towards living your actual image and purpose. Look inside to find your strength. And when life's turmoils give you trouble, don't turn from them. Struggle with them. Listen to them. And let them become the energy that drives you deeper in. This is how I survived in the world long before I found the Aramaic translation. When I came back from my first near-death experience, it was the very pain of living in the world in this beautiful hellscape that gave me the power, the drive, the energy, the focus to dive within myself to find the only salvation I could, which is a return to home, which is an opening of my heart to allow the space within me to vibrate with the divine frequencies, to become empty enough to resonate, so that as I live in the world and face my troubles, and one of the reasons I got married and had a family is because I wanted to be a human full being, not a monk in a monastery, unacquainted with the struggles. I figured if I could do it in the world, anybody could. The more pain I feel, I don't run from the darkness. I want to make that clear. I don't run from my troubles when I go inward. When I come out, I face my troubles. When I go inward and bring my mind to the one, I get refreshed. I get strength. I get power that I got the divine at my back. I've got the divine inside of me. And it gives me energy in the world. I transmute my pain into focus, and the focus brings me light in my life. It's as simple as that. And the breath and the mind, or the twirling, the whirling of Rumi, or the yoga, or the martial arts, Tai Chi, or any sort of meditation that brings your mind into your heart, that's the path. And you'll find there the capacity to live life with more courage, with more self-awareness, with kindness, even in the face of trouble. I hope that's been helpful to people this morning. You can join us on Zoom at the top of the hour in about 11 minutes. This is where spiritually transformed people gather in privacy to accept each other as we are, with humility, compassion, and kindness born of direct experience. The link is in the show notes. We have time for chat today. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. It makes Not Church possible. Visit peterpanagore.love. All right, I'm going to go over here and take a look and see what's going on. Fear is the place they are coming from with judgment and criticism, says Diane. That's right. Their own wounds. Their own wounds. And in terms of your spirituality, if you're met with skepticism, it's because they haven't seen it. And they don't know. It's not their fault. Multiple times, more times rejection, at least 20-fold, and the 10,000 comes to mind, says Robert. Yeah, lots of people saying, wow, reject, 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 whatever it is you're saying about spirituality. I try not to make other problems seem like my problems at Quiet Energy. That's a good advice too. Hey, Andy. Hey, Andy. Betty, Connecticut. Hey. Thank you, Andrew. Very helpful. Thank you. I'm glad that, thank you. I appreciate it. I always want to know if this is helpful or not, because it doesn't do you any good if I'm not giving you something that's useful for you. And so my whole purpose in doing Not Church is to help us find tools and understanding to live our spirituality in the world practically. And so it's very helpful to me to know if this is helpful or not. And I'm open to negative criticism. Well, that's what I'm open to critique. I should say I'm open to critique. I'm always open to critique. Hi, Pauline. Peace and love to everyone. Thank you, Peter. I needed to hear exactly what you said. Thank you. I'm always trying to be guided by spirit, and I'm always trying to listen with my heart as I prepare. The Fran Bart, hello everyone. Going within the breath is key. Yes, I am seeing how it takes me out of my head and into my heart. It takes you out of your head and into your intelligent heart. I wish I knew this years ago, sending love and peace to all. Franca Bartholomew, sending love and peace to you too. And that is the power of prayer. Meditative prayer is to take your self into your heart, to get out of your head and into the intelligence of your heart. And in this space, this is such an intelligent part of us. It's where it's where I came back into my body. It's my opening it's the channel, it's the love in the world and the love from above. It's where it comes in. Very helpful. Thank you, Barbara. Good. Thank you, Diane. It's always helpful. I'm glad to hear that. It's very helpful. It brings me to tears. It's so hard living in this world, says Larry. It is so hard living in this world. That's why I call it a beautiful hellscape, because it is a hellscape. It's beautiful a lot, okay? But it's also a hellscape. And this is where the power lies to live a life that is manageable. This is spirituality. For me, it's about managing myself and my relationship to the world. And without this management tool, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be lost. I'd be lost. I'd be no good. It's so hard living in this world, but when you discover the kingdom, the queendom, the realm, the heaven, the light, the beingness inside yourself, it's like this big relief. Phew. I finally have something, someone, the being of love present in my life. Hi, Mike. Do you have a link to the Aramaic Beatitudes? Is this available? That's what I'm trying to talk to Neil Douglas Klotz about this week. The book is Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus. There are copyright rules that I definitely try to follow. I'm not allowed to print it, put it into any sort of print form, but I believe I'm allowed to speak it because I looked it up. It wasn't in the copyright. So I feel free to talk about it. I would love to give it to you, but you can find this on Amazon and at Barnes and Noble. Neil Douglas Klotz, I think his name is below, and he might even have a link below in the show notes. It's fabulous. And I've been reading this guy for 20 something years. I have another book of his. Wow. Having just found you recently, hi Amy, I'm finding this and old videos incredibly useful. Things intuitively I knew you say, that's the thing. And welcome, Amy. That's the thing. It's not, you know this intuitively because it is human. It's like way, way down at the core of our being. And that's why you can find it in the Upanishads, and you can find it in Jesus, and you can find it in Rumi, because it is all back to the single source. And that is right inside of you, Amy, right inside of me, right inside of all of us, 7-8 billion people on our planet. I'm so glad that you say that, Amy. Felt a thrill with a common language. We could easily connect with Jesus and disciples with our hearts connected in truth, says Ellen. Yes, this is the connection place. That's what he was trying to teach his disciples. That's what all the teachers are trying to teach, all the oneness teachers, let's call them. They're trying to teach the same thing. And it does feel like a thrill right in the center of the heart. I heard someone call someone blind. How do blind people know they're blind? They don't. They don't. They don't. If you can't, there, I think it's I want to say it's Plato has the story of the cave. Maybe look that up. It's an ancient story that kind of talks about this. I tell it now, but we're running out of time. They don't know that they're blind, and you can't blame them for being blind. You just got to love them as they are, even when they're skeptical, even when they attack you, which is why lots of us keep our mouths shut because I get tired of that. So I don't talk about it unless I'm here or in our group, or being interviewed. Geez, last week I did like 3 interviews. It's crazy, and the writing's going extraordinarily well. Uber Camper, hey Uber Camper. Yes, Plato the Cave. Thanks, Amy. That's what it was. Plato the Cave. All right. I've got 4 minutes. I'm going to leave from here. I'm going to immediately turn on Zoom. You can jump right in the group. I'll be there in a couple of minutes. I've got some setup and change to do, and I'll see you there. Peace and love. Thanks for joining me this morning. Peace and love to you all. Peace and love. And light too. Thanks for being here.